Amanda Roman had been dating her boyfriend, Ryan Leake, for a couple of years when one day a thought popped into her head.
I was actually chatting. We were over at his house. We had a few friends over. One of them was a wedding planner, wedding coordinator, and she was telling me about how stressful weddings are. She said, you think they're these fabulous things when you're a wedding planner that, it's this like movie-like job, but you think it's a dream and it is hard work. And it just popped in my head, and I said, you know what? I would love a stress-free wedding. I would love to get engaged and married on the same day.
This is Family Life Today. Our host is the president of Family Life, Dennis Rainey, and I'm Bob Lepine. So just how would that work? Having a proposal and a wedding all happen on the same day? Well, there'd have to be some elements of surprise. And for Ryan Leake and Amanda Roman, there certainly were. Stay tuned. And welcome to Family Life Today. Thanks for joining us. There's an article on our website at familylifetoday.com that is Proposal Stories to Remember. Have you seen the article?
I have not.
A great article of just some of the great proposals that we've heard about over the years. The sad thing is the article does not have the story we're going to hear today.
This may be the story of this decade.
It may be.
No doubt about it. We have a pair of courageous, young,
or foolish.
Christian leaders.
Is it courageous or foolish?
I think they're courageous. I think they're courageous. Ryan and Amanda Leake join us on Family Life Today. Amanda, Ryan, welcome to the broadcast.
We're happy to be here.
We are very happy to be here.
I'm just going to cut to the chase. Ryan, I want you to tell our listeners what you did to propose
to Amanda Roman, now Leake. Yes.
Amanda Roman, you'd been dating for how long?
We dated for about 5 years.
Okay.
So
that's enough preliminary discussion.
Right.
Explain what happened on a day.
Okay, so 3 years into us dating, I overhear her say to a friend, I think it'd be cool to get engaged and married on the same day. Now, at the time, I was like cooking or making some pancakes, and she was in the living room with a friend. It was a Saturday afternoon. We were just hanging out, or I don't even really remember all of those details. I just remember in the kitchen, looking up, going, what in the world does that mean? And I can't talk to her about it because obviously proposals are meant to be a surprise. So does that mean I would have to plan the wedding? And so I just started investigating what it would take to pull off a surprise wedding.
You actually said you went on recon.
I did. I did some recon work. And so I began investigating through her friends what she would want in a wedding. And I was also a pretty good friend in college, so I was in 11 weddings during this time. So weddings were a normal conversation, and obviously we wanted to get married to each other. So we were talking marriage and wedding, what we would want in a day in the future, way future. But every time we talked, I was actually planning.
Why so far in the future, though, by the way?
She was in college. We wanted to wait till she graduated. So she actually graduated college 3 weeks before we got married.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I dated my wife for 4 years, and we were at the outer limits of her patience at the end of 4 years, okay?
She drew a line on the sand and said, buddy,
well,
now or never.
Hunk her up to the table.
She didn't do that. She wrote a letter and said, I think I found somebody who's more interested than you. And I went, oh, what? So, but that's another story.
I want to hear that story. Wow, that's amazing. Wait a minute.
But I just wondered about the whole 5-year thing, because 5 years is a long time to date somebody.
It is. It is a long time. I was guilty of seeing girls getting engaged on Instagram and kind of giving Ryan the elbow sometimes. When's that going to happen for us? But I think for us, we actually were really content being single at first. And so we didn't really feel like we were in a rush to get married. But we kind of felt like that was the next step to be taken.
So in this 5-year window, at the end of the window, when he is...
I've got to interrupt you, though, Bob.
Okay, all right.
This sounds horribly invasive to say this early in the broadcast, but you dated for 5 years, but you weren't sleeping with each other.
No,
not
at all.
See, I think a lot of couples are cohabiting, and think nothing of it today because they've lost the standard of morality that the Bible spells out. And the reason they delay marriage is they're already participating in some of the benefits of the relationship. You guys weren't doing that.
No.
We weren't. Nope. And that was a decision we made way before we started dating. I think that's important too, is to...
Yeah, but, a lot of couples make that decision before they start dating. 3 years in, 4 years in, 5 years in, that gets really hard. Bro, wasn't that had to be hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hard, but we decided to just make our relationship not about sitting around watching Netflix and watching movies. We decided just that we were going to be an active couple, and that sometimes you can get focused on what you're against instead of what you're for. So sometimes you're, as a pure, quote-unquote, couple, you are carrying around this badge of virginity, and it's like, well, we're not virgins. Well, what are you? I know what you're not.
Right.
But what are you doing? So we decided that we wanted to make our relationship about generosity. We wanted to be so busy giving to other people of our time and of our resources. So before we were married, we said we want this to be the theme of our family. So we decided to start taking portions of our income above what we give in church to just give away.
Like a married couple.
Like a married couple. We decided to start practicing what we wanted our marriage to look like, and I thought, this isn't the worst thing that could happen. I mean, what is the worst thing that could happen? Like, we give to a widow, and I don't know, she gets to pay a bill a month, and let's say we break up. Oh man, we shouldn't have given to that. Like, you wouldn't say that. That's not. We've had bigger regrets, So I think it's hard for millennials and people that are dating for a long time to have a central focus. And ours did. We felt like we were on a mission from the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. You guys were a bicycle built for two. You weren't in a committed covenant relationship yet called marriage, but you were already heading in a direction.
Well, and that's where I want to go back to the direction, because, again, after 5 years, thinking this could come sometimes. I know a lot of girls who, anytime they're going to be with their boyfriend, they're wondering, I wonder if he's going to ask me. Had that started to factor into your thinking?
I'm not going to lie, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit started popping in my head. But like Ryan said, I wanted to finish school first. I was working full-time, going to school full-time. And so I was hoping he would propose soon. I had no idea that my boyfriend was planning a wedding.
No idea. There was no
Zero.
telltale sign. He kept the whole thing covert.
Not only that, but had my entire family and all of my friends in on it.
Yeah, we're going to find out about that, but I want to go back to when you said it. Were you hinting at him flipping the pancakes in the other room?
When she said, I'd like to get engaged and married on the same day?
Yeah, just went up a level in volume. So
Yeah.
No, I was actually chatting. We were over at his house. We had a few friends over. One of them was a wedding planner, wedding coordinator, and she was telling me about how stressful weddings are. She said, you think they're these fabulous things when you're a wedding planner that, it's this like movie-like job, but, you end up, the bride's so upset at you and you're in, a closet somewhere trying to eat a pretzel because you don't have any energy. And she's like, it's you think it's a dream and it is hard work. And it just popped in my head. And I said, you know what? I would love a stress-free wedding. I would love to get engaged and married on the same day.
And the pancake flipper in the other room goes, I heard that.
Right.
And so that was all the thought you had given to that statement.
About a week later, I thought it over again. Now, in my mind, I'm picturing us going somewhere, him proposing, and then we just put together a wedding, take my girls to a store, pick out a cute dress, play whatever's on our iPod at the time.
Las Vegas Wedding Chapel, drive-through, that kind of thing.
Not quite Las Vegas, but just something really spontaneous.
Yeah.
And, I have a big Puerto Rican family, so we can make anything a party. And I just figured, less stress for me. And, let's just, do it that way. I never told him that, but I definitely started telling some of my friends.
Interesting. Okay, back to the recon work that you were doing, Ryan.
That recon work was serious because she had a lot of requests, obviously. And if you're going to do a surprise wedding, you got to do it right. You can't.
It can't be 3/4 surprise.
Right.
No.
Like it's got to, you're all in.
It's got to be a sting, yeah.
So she had mentioned that she wanted to get married in San Diego on a beach. And so
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking we just went from Las Vegas Wedding Chapel to San Diego on a beach, and I'm thinking you got your work cut out for you, bro.
Oh yeah. So I had a friend that worked at a large church in San Diego, and I said, "Hey, can I come consult you for free?" He was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I need a legitimate excuse to come to San Diego so I can check out wedding venues." So he said, "Yeah, we actually need some help with small groups." And so I went there, consulted for a day, and so I told the man, I said, "Hey, I'm going to San Diego," and I traveled and did consulting, so that was very normal. And I'll never forget, I went to this wedding venue on the beach in San Diego. I said, "Hey, I need to speak to your wedding coordinator." And she said, "Okay, so you're thinking about getting married? When?" I said, "No, I'm not sure." She said, "Okay, where's your fiance?" I said, "Well, I don't have one yet." And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm actually going to propose the day of the wedding." She was like, "What?" Well, what do you, I mean, she couldn't get it in her brain. And at the time, I really couldn't get it in my brain. I was like, maybe this is crazy. So then I went to the second venue. I told her the exact same story. And this girl got up and started running around the couch. She's like, "This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. We're going to make it happen." I was like, okay, this is just like, so emotions are just everywhere. And I'm on the phone with her, and she said, "Hey, Ryan, you know what I was thinking?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "I think it'd be really cool to get married on a beach in Puerto Rico."
I'm a woman. We change our minds. We're talking like dream fantasy
know.
wedding.
She doesn't know. It's not like.
Did you realize you had pulled the pin of a grenade and just rolled it into?
And that wasn't the only time either. That happened on several occasions.
So did you move it to Hawaii? Where was the next location you chose?
I think after that, probably about the fourth time that I changed my mind, he said, "You know what? We're doing it in Miami. She's gonna just have to deal."
Yeah, I ended up just having to make a call.
Yeah.
I mean, and I knew that if we did it in Hollywood, Florida, she wouldn't expect it because that wasn't on the wish. So you just had to make a.
But there was a gamble. There's a bit of a gamble in that, though.
The whole thing's a gamble. I mean, you're proposing.
She might say no. I mean,
exactly.
You're pretty sure this was not a girl who was going to say no to you when you proposed.
Yeah, like I knew she would agree to marry me. That does not mean she was going to agree to marry me that day.
Whether what she said over pancakes a few years ago was serious or not, right?
Like, what if she was just like, "Well, that was 2 years ago."
You also had just one minor detail that we haven't talked about here. Right. That in my mind, I figured, now how's he going to negotiate that? And that was your mom.
Oh yeah.
She didn't like him.
She didn't. I'm trying to sugarcoat it. No, she didn't. I was raised by a single mom, and so she kind of played mom and dad for us growing up, and so she was extremely overprotective and just didn't want to see my life go down the same road that hers had, and so she gave Ryan a very hard time when it came to dating me, and then he shows up to her house one day to ask her blessing, not just to get engaged, but also to get married on the same day. So she had a hard time with that. But yeah, we were able to work through it. And it actually was one of the best parts of our story, I would say, is just seeing the kind of full circle that happened in my mom's heart towards Ryan.
So Ryan, were you nervous when you went to meet with her to ask for her daughter's hand in marriage?
And if you weren't, you're a fool. I'm just telling you right now.
No, I mean, it's a tough conversation to go to a mom and say, "Can I marry your daughter?" And then she's like, "Well, I'm not so sure." Well, I already planned a wedding. And she doesn't know about it, and you can't tell her. I mean, the layers of complications there are through the roof.
So how did you leave that day?
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I mean, you think about all the plans of a surprise wedding and all the things that can go wrong. But the number one thing that can go wrong is that.
Hold it. No, I don't have any idea of what a surprise wedding and what looks like can go wrong. I don't have any idea.
Well, what could go wrong with a regular wedding? I mean, think about catering. You think about chairs. You think about rentals. You think about the food. You think about the cake, the dress. You think about all of those details that you have to if you're planning a wedding. But the biggest thing in this particular scenario is all it takes is you slipping and telling her. All of her, every person in her world that loves her deeply has the biggest secret of their life.
One friend.
And you're one friend away from it being completely over. So I'm threatening people every day.
And
it's
you can
crazy.
see one friend just going, I am so excited, because every
Yes.
time they see you, that's what they're thinking.
Yes.
And they got to bite their tongue. Here's
Yes.
what I'm thinking. The one thing that can go wrong is having a man plan a wedding by himself. Because I'm thinking if somebody put me in charge of planning a wedding, it would turn out to be the world's worst wedding.
Yeah, I had some really great friends and her friends and family. I pulled them in the office the first day that she had even mentioned it, and I said, "Hey, I got something crazy. Just tell me what I need to." And their eyes just lit up, and they were like, "We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you do everything." So I mean, it was a team effort. It wasn't a just me thing at all.
So, Amanda, back to Bob's point. Not a hint? Not a slip?
Not a hint. In retrospect, I think people are acting very funny around me. But no, even my 7-year-old niece was in the wedding, and
Oh, wow.
I visited my sister and saw her, and I said, Laylee, one day when I get married, will you be my flower girl? And she looked at me and she said, yes, I'll love that. And she had her flower girl dress upstairs in her room, already planned, and hair, bow tie, shoes, the whole nine. So even the 7-year-old was in on it, and they were just holding their tongue.
So miracles do still happen, right? That's what we're saying.
That was the biggest miracle.
Yeah.
So when talking with her mother, you're leaving obviously dejected, and every person you tell is floored. Like this is going to be amazing, or maybe not, but it's going to be a sight to see if she says no or yes. Like no matter what happens, like
I want to be there.
It's gonna be entertaining.
This is reality TV. No matter what happens.
One minor detail that I left out is that you had been in a career of media and filmmaking.
Right.
So you're kind of all over the whole concept of story to begin with.
Yeah, and honestly, I never wanted to have this extravagant like love story or like that I needed to be famous or anything. I just wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to have what she wanted.
Okay, now wait a second. I just want to pick up the book you guys wrote. It's called The One. An amazing love story starts with you. So you ended up being a part of one, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But it starts with you being the person that you would want to be with. Like you can't expect somebody else to just be awesome and that they're going to love you if you're not. Like you can't expect, okay, I want to marry a wealthy person, but you don't handle your finances well. Like it starts with you. I want to be with somebody who's driven. Are you driven? Like if he's driven, why? And you're not. Why would he want to marry you?
I want to marry a man of God.
Yeah, then you got to be a woman of God.
Right.
I mean, it goes down the line, and so, but we never said. I didn't need it to be extravagant. I mean, there were several times just because of the stress of planning a surprise wedding where I asked her. I said, "Hey, how would you feel just eloping? Like let's just go to a courthouse. Like I just want to be with you. Like I don't need a viral wedding. Like if." And she was like, I don't know. Like she goes, I mean, obviously I want to be with you, but I think I would miss having a day like where my family was there, and like I think I would regret that. And we went, okay.
So wait, if she had said, how would you? If she said yes,
If she said yeah,
would it have been the courthouse that
it would have been the courthouse.
Okay,
not that afternoon, but probably that next weekend for sure. We would have made it happen.
So you were ready to ditch the wedding dream.
The airplane tickets had not been purchased yet.
Oh yeah, I mean. Obviously, if you watch the video, this didn't cost me $100. I mean, this was a pricey deal. So for her to go, we're just gonna elope. I would have gladly called everybody. Hey guys, it was a great idea. Next time. Okay, like it's not gonna happen. Like
I'm thinking there may be some of our listeners, even though your video has been watched by how many people?
1.4 million people.
Yeah, so that's a bunch of people, but we may have some listeners who have not seen the video
A couple.
of your wedding.
Right.
You can go to familylifetoday.com. We've got a link there. You can watch the video and see what this looked like and how it got pulled off. And it's not just fun to watch. It's
Don't give it away, Bob.
but it's moving, right?
I wept. I told them when I met them earlier today. I said, "You made me cry today. Watched your video. I want to go back to the elopement invitation.
Conversation.
How much of a temptation was that to you?
I would have done it, but my family would have just never.
Would have killed you.
Yeah.
Your 7-year-old niece would have been out being a flower girl.
Destroyed. Destroyed, crying in her dress. Yeah.
Well, at that time, she didn't have the dress. I mean, we were fine. And again, if I got to reimburse a dress or pay for a venue, trust me, I'll take the dress any day of the week. It's easy.
Well, folks are going to have to tune back in to hear the rest of the story because this love story really does get accomplished. And you want to hear how this happened because I got to tell you, love does find a way.
Yeah.
And Ryan did outstanding recon work. I watched the video and I thought, yeah, he's a pretty good filmmaker. He made a great story right there.
Yeah. Again, you can go to familylifetoday.com to see the video. And if you'd like information about the book that Ryan and Amanda have written, it's called The One. You can request a copy when you go online at familylifetoday.com, or you can call to order at 1-800-FL-TODAY. Again, the toll-free number is 1-800-358-6329, or you can order the book online at familylifetoday.com. You know, as fun as this story we're hearing today is, every couple knows that the romance and the spontaneity and the excitement of an engagement and a wedding can pretty quickly turn to discouragement and disappointment. A lot of couples have had that experience. And here at Family Life, our assignment, the thing God has called us to do, is to remind husbands and wives of what the Bible says is true about marriage. God's plan for marriage works. It's a good plan. And he not only gives you a plan, but he gives you the power to make a marriage work. And I want to take a minute here today to say thank you to the listeners who make it possible for us to help couples all around the world understand and embrace God's plan for marriage and family. Our goal here is to effectively develop godly marriages and families who change the world one home at a time. And when you invest in this ministry, you're actually investing in the lives and the marriages and the families of hundreds of thousands of people who tune into this program, who go to our website, who attend our events and use our resources. You're helping build stronger marriages and families when you invest in the ministry of Family Life today. If you can help with an investment today, we'd love to send you a resource that Barbara Rainey has created that declares your home